Hey, my loves. Happy Friday. It's your girl, Christy Akins, and you have tuned in to another episode of Southern Chats. Welcome back. Let's first start off with Valentine's Day. I hope that everyone enjoyed their V-Day. I hope that everyone was able to get the gifts that they wanted and was able to just love on their partner. And for those of you that are single, I pray that you enjoyed your V-Day as well. And if you just took yourself out or just spoiled yourself, bought yourself something, I hope that you enjoyed your day as well. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into today's show. And as you all know from last week, I stated that I was going to do a part 2 for the show that I did last week because I wasn't able to finish. So today's episode is going to be, last week's was, is there purpose behind me being your ride or die? So this week is going to be a part 2 to that, because last week I talked about the types of relationships that you don't need to be a ride or die for. And if you did not get that video, please go and catch up on that and watch that so you can have part 1. So today I'm going to be talking about the relationships you should ride for. So we're going to go ahead and dive into that. And let me just say that I'm very thankful and I'm very happy to have this podcast, and I'm thankful for you all that tune into the podcast and that listen, because I actually was going to do a video, a part 2, and I was going to do a video, but my week has been one of the busiest weeks. Oh my goodness. I have not had any time to sit down and record a video for me to post. So I was like, I need to get my content out. And I said, you know what? I'm going to just have to do a podcast. But that is the advantage of having a vlog and a podcast, is because when I can't do one, I can definitely do the other. So I'm very thankful for that. And I'm still thankful and grateful for you all as well. So like I always say, continue to write, email, comment, share, and just spread the love, spread this movement, get this knowledge out, because it is definitely needed. So now that that's out the way, let's go ahead and dive into this topic today. So, what are the types of relationships that you should be a ride or die for? So for me and my point of view and where I'm looking at things, I definitely feel like first and foremost, you should be a ride or die for someone that has a vision, that first follows God, and then 2 has a vision. Because when you are with somebody that actually, and I know that there may be people listening to this podcast and they may have other religious beliefs and of that nature, but even with those other religious beliefs, you have to be following some creator. You have to be following some type of creator to make sure that you are being able to be a proper leader in your relationship. And that goes for the men. So if you are following God in your relationship, following God allows you to be submissive to the creator, right? So if you're being submissive to the creator and following those guidelines and being able to be a servant to the creator, which would in retrospect allow you to serve your mates. And see, I think that a lot of times most men may get that servitude confused and be like, I don't need to serve. She needs to serve me, this and that. When you're actually in a relationship, you all are both serving one another. You're serving each other's needs. So there's not a time where, it's like, oh no, well, I don't have to serve you. You have to serve me. No. And there's going to be times where, maybe there's a loved one that passed. And so, you want to serve your mate and be there for your mate, and you put yourself on a, like, what do you need from me? I'm here for you. I want to be able to help you get through this. Yeah, those moments come and they go, but for the full totality of your relationship, you all both should be serving one another. So if you all are serving one another, if your mate is serving the Creator, then that will trickle down to them serving you, or you all serving each other. And it's an understanding, and it's a balance with you all having the servitude for one another. And that's really what it's all about, is creating balance within your relationship. So once both of you all are in alignment with serving your Creator, serving God, and then serving one another, you can ride. You can ride. And when I say be a ride or die for these relationships, I'm not saying go out and fight somebody over these people and this and that, because this is the thing about these types of relationships. Nothing will come in between them as far as any infidelity or things. Now, trust me, people will definitely still try. Let me put that there. Let me stick a pin there. You will still have people try you. You will still have people try to see if they can talk to you or get you to step outside of your relationship. They're going to try. But when you put the work in, they won't succeed. You see what I'm saying? They will not succeed in getting your man or getting your woman. You see what I'm saying? It's levels to this. So when I say, be a ride or die for these, it's just a play on words from the last video that I did. It's just pretty much saying, be a ride or die for these type of people. Stay in relationships with these type of people. Make things work out with these type of people, these type of relationships. Make them work. I ain't saying go out and be no fool and go shoot or kill anybody, because we ain't promoting none of that. We're not promoting any violence or anything. But these are the type of relationships that you want to see manifest and that you want to see grow in your life. So that's what we mean by that, okay? So, following your Creator, to somebody that has a vision. If you are with somebody that has a vision for where they see you all going, that speaks volumes. And then you're able to see if each other, you're able to see if that person actually sees you in their life long term, or vice versa, because this question needs to be asked both ways. Like, what is your vision? After y'all have dated, maybe 6 months to a year, y'all have dated, and you want to ask and see those things. Like, what's the vision that you have for long-term relationships? What are your goals as far as relationships go? And if they are still very broad and vague with their answer, then 9 times out of 10, you don't meet the cut to be in their life long term. So you have to pay attention to things like that. When you ask somebody, what's your vision, and if you all, have been dating and things have been going really good, and she's like, well, honestly, I've liked you from the jump, and I can honestly see us, being very serious and hopefully one day getting married. I can definitely see that with you. If you have a woman talking like that, yeah, fellas, she sees you in her future. Fellas, for my ladies, if you ask your man, then he's like, I definitely want to settle down. First and foremost, he needs to want to be in a committed relationship. Because, listen, nothing is worse than being with a man that is not ready to settle down, okay? So, he definitely needs to want to be in a committed relationship. And if he says, man, I've been looking at our relationship and I can't see myself without you, so I definitely can see you being my wife. Things like that. If he sees you, or if he says something like, I just want us to invest more in, us cleaning up our credit or something like that. I'm just using an example. Something like that. I really want us to get our credit score up, because I want, when we have our wedding, I want you to be able to have the wedding of your dreams and get the things that you want. This man sees a future with you. He has a vision for you all to do better together, so that you all can have the experiences that you both want. You have to be with somebody that has a vision. So you ride for those type of relationships. You ride. You don't just throw that to the wayside and let that go. You pay close attention. Now, even with all these nuggets that I'm dropping, you still have to be very mindful and watch people's actions. Don't just take what a person says and consider it to be gold. Because sometimes people will tell you things, and they will tell you things based off of what they think you want to hear, and their actions show nothing compared to what they've said to you. So be sure that, you are watching out for the actions that they display outside of what they've already told you. So keep that in mind. So, you're gonna, just to go back and recap a little bit, you're gonna want to be a ride or die for those, who follow God, follow, whatever religion they are. If they're following under leadership and following God. And then 2, you want to be with somebody that has a vision. And then 3, you want to be with somebody who wants to be thoughtful or / pour into you. There is always a give and take in relationships where both parties at some point have to consider their mate and what their mate likes and what their mate dislikes. What they like to do, what they don't like to do. And with learning your partner and knowing their likes and dislikes, it's up to you to do those things for your mate, or just pour into your mate to let your mate know that you are here. You're here. You want to be present in the relationship, and you're willing to pour into them in such a way that shows them that you love them. And it's about being thoughtful, and it's about, just showing that caring side. You can tell somebody you love them all day, but love requires action. It requires action. So if you have somebody who can see you in their vision is going to, number 3, is going to show up in their actions. So it's just like a trickle down effect. Okay? You know, you follow God, which is going to give you the blueprint of your role in the relationship, whether you are the man or the woman in the relationship. It gives you that blueprint of what you should be doing in your relationship. And then after that, you have a vision. And with that vision, you share that vision with your partner as to how you see each other in each other's lives. And then it trickles down to you showing the action. You showing the action that I see you in my vision. When I tell you that you are in my vision and I see myself being with you, oh, my action is going to line up with that vision. It must line up with that vision. So it has to go, it has to have some type of order to it, steps that you take. You know, if it's something like, you know that you get off at 4:00 every day. So by the time you make it home, it may be 4:45. And you know that your partner gets off at 6:30. And they work a very excruciating job that it requires a lot and they're tired. It may be something where, you have the bath water waiting on them when they get there. Your bath water is already ready. I've already started dinner. The thoughtfulness, the action that's put behind showing your mate that, I love you. I care for your needs. I care for you. And I know that, you have a hard job. So I'm putting forth that effort. It's the thoughtfulness where you can say that, where your partner can say, I know that my mate at any given point, they will try to take the load off of me. When both parties are working in collaboration to be selfless to one another, man, it's wonderful. It's beautiful. And then you take away all of the bickering and the arguing because you're too busy trying to display the love for one another. And when you have relationships like this, these are the relationships that you ride for. These are the relationships that, you don't let go to the wayside, and you pretty much, you nurture these relationships, and you see them grow. Whatever you put into your relationship is what's going to grow. So if all you are putting into your relationship is arguing, being defensive, not doing anything, because there's a lot of relationships that are just null and void, that are just dead. Nothing is being done. You're probably just living with each other, and that's probably about it. You have a lot of relationships, like that. But whatever you put into it, that's what you're going to get out of it. So once you put the love and the care, and you nurture your relationship, you get things out of it. You get that back. It comes back to you. It's the law of attraction. It comes back to you. Yeah, it's not going to always be peaches and roses. It's not. I mean, you have to understand, you all both have families where, sometimes you have issues with families that sometimes can impact your relationship. But that all goes back to that communication, the communication and you all talking things out. But there's gonna come some bad days, some not so good days, and that's okay. You just work through those. You work through those days. You work through those things, and you figure it out. But for the most part, if all that is being poured into the relationship is love and being selfless, then those are the relationships that you can definitely see grow with a positive effect. So I hope that this podcast, I hope that this shed a little light on the relationships that you know that you should be a ride or die for. Because if you go back and listen to my other podcasts where we talk about the relationships you shouldn't ride or die for, yeah, those are relationships we're not gonna even entertain those. We're gonna leave those relationships alone, and we are definitely going to be in the relationships that we're gonna ride or die for the relationships that brings about positive change in our life, okay? That upgrades us, man and woman, that upgrades us. Because when you get with the right person, it's definitely going to upgrade you no matter how you look at it. So, I pray that this message is reached by someone who definitely needed to hear this, by someone who has gotten confirmation on their relationship and where they should be at and what should be going on. Even if you're single, I hope that this helps you move forth in your season of being single to understand what you should look for. Like always, please like, share, subscribe. All platforms, my page is Capture This LLC. Please subscribe to the YouTube page. You get to see all of the episodes that we have for Southern Chats. And if you want to send any sting mail and you just want to just love on me, or you just want to write a question or whatever, please send those email inquiries to capturethisllc@gmail.com. Send your sting mail there. All right. So again, happy Friday. I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will be seeing you all next week. I love you all.